When he got to us, I mean, it just, it made the clubhouse that much better.
He's the guy that took us into 04 and just kind of took everybody on his shoulders and said, all right, well, let's go, we're gonna do this.
He just embraced every minute of people vibing around him.
Started in Seattle, goes to Minnesota, and the Twins really didn't want him. So to turn that around into a Hall of Fame career is pretty special.
You know, the personality, just what he's done, you know, once in a generation type of player and personality.
I mean, David Ortiz is here because he was a badass hitter, and that's the reason why Boston started to win all these championships. I mean, Big Papi, we love him.
I want you guys to know that even with the God-given talent that I have, I don't think I would have made it without the support and love coming from all of you.
First time I met Big Papi, I mean, he was playing for Minnesota. I must have been playing for Kansas City at the time. But when he came over to us in 2003, he was looking for a job, just like a lot of guys are getting released during spring training. What a tough time to start scrambling. And he scrambled to some of his good friends, the Pedros, the Mannies, and guess what? We gave him an opportunity to sit on our bench and be a pinch hitter. When his time came up, he took advantage of it, and the rest is history.
Towards left center field, hit pretty well, and his first hit in a Red Sox uniform at Fenway Park.
When he got to us, I mean, it just, it made the clubhouse that much better. I think when you look at all the great ball players that the Red Sox have had, and for me to have the opportunity to play with, it seems like David was that one player that brought everybody together. He just a carefree, loved to play the game, loved to compete, loved his teammates, his family, our families as well. It just a big teddy bear.
It was a big guy. We had just signed him in that spring training. I'm like, this is gonna be interesting. Big DH, first baseman, left-hander, didn't speak very good English.
I remember being a young guy and in spring training and just trying to fit in and just trying to, having a number that was like an offensive lineman, and David trying to make the team and all that in 2003, and then just what he did just in 2003 and pushing his way into the lineup, and then in 2004 and just taking, Boston by storm.
Swing and a drive, deep right, way back Sheffield. It's gone! The Red Sox have won it!
You learn from those guys that have done it before, so it was definitely huge for me as a young player to step into a clubhouse with guys that have won and learn from them and try to get better.
Honestly, for me, where he wowed me the most was my first year in Boston, when he set the home run record. I had never been with a teammate hitting 50+ home runs. It felt like every other day he was hitting a home run, so that was pretty cool, coming down to the last couple weeks where he needed to hit a couple home runs to break the record, and he did it in David Ortiz fashion.
Drives it to deep right. Back goes Kadire. It's up, it's gone. A new Red Sox single-season record for home runs, 51, as David Ortiz now stands alone.
It's been almost 20 years since my first day in Boston. We have some incredible memories. When I think about Boston, I definitely think about 2004, 2007, and of course 2013. After the city was shaken by a marathon bombing, I had never seen a community bounce back and reunite like Boston.
This jersey that we wear today, it doesn't say Red Sox, it says Boston. Stay strong. Thank you.
When I think about Boston, I also think about the last game I played. Standing on that field at Fenway Park, it feels like the whole city of New England and each one and every one of you was surrounding me and was showing me all your love. I will always be Boston, and I will always be there for you, Boston. I love you, Boston.
He had to be battle-proof, had to be strong through adversity, losing his mother, getting released, joining a franchise that it's tough to play in front of the fans. And then he came in, dominated, city embraced him, and now he's with all the legends here in Cooperstown.
A young kid, didn't get a chance with Minnesota. I'm sure he thinks his career is over with. And you know, I think having other Dominican players here helped him a lot. Pedro was a huge influence on him on how to do it. Kevin Millar, again, was one of the guys that kind of like helped him or groomed him into who he is. Manny Ramirez was here, the captain Veritek, you know, kind of got on him. And we made him feel more at home here in Boston than I think he felt. Even though Kirby Puckett was his guy in Minnesota, I think he felt more at home here in Boston than he did there.
David loved it all. He loved embracing being a great player. He didn't shy away from it. He didn't mind the spotlight. He could walk into any bar, any club, anywhere, and he just embraced every minute of people vibing around him. And I can't explain it because I'm not that type of guy. But David is that guy, and what he did and how he went about it, I mean, it's not easy. You know, to be famous, to be great is not easy. And he did it and personified like everything about being really good on the field and being really good off the field. And I thought that was one of the hard things for me personally. So I envy David and the way he just handled it, and that infectious smile and just the way he personified the Boston spirit. I think the Boston Strong thing and him going out there and talking about this is my city and what he said, that was really him. Like, he didn't script that. That was just who he is. And he just has a lot of passion and a lot of love for people, and it just showed up every day.
Any fan gravitates towards someone like David Ortiz, you know, just with that infectious smile, the way that, you know, he loves the fans, he gives back to the community. And that's when he kind of hit his stride. You know, he was hitting 40-plus home runs, and we had probably the best 3-4 combination that the game of baseball has ever seen. But you didn't realize what he was doing when he was around you, because, you know, some guys, you know, they get kind of into themselves at times. No dish on anyone who's like that, kind of separate themselves from the team. But David, you know, his experiences, he would say, you know, wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for his teammates. And that was just the kind of person he was.
I've always thought that when the biggest personalities in the clubhouse are your best players and the ones that come through, they become the clubhouse uniters. And I think I wasn't in the clubhouse in 04, but I got to believe he played a role. In 07, he absolutely played a role. And then in 13, you know, not only, I think we all see the speech, we all know about the speech, but there's so many things behind the scenes in the clubhouse where he was able to rally guys. And I've always appreciated that he learns English and was willing to speak and do interviews in English, because it's hard when that's your second language. And I think he was able to dominate the language so well that now he could relate to guys that speak English plus the Latin players. So he's a guy that he could go to everyone and everyone could go to him. And I think that's being a complete teammate.
Mike Lowell will pinch hit for David Ortiz.
We joke about it now, but I think that was the worst feeling in my career when literally I was asked to pinch hit for him, because I saw he goes back to that dugout with his head down, and I'm like, do I try to make an out or do I try to get a hit? Like, I was really at a crossroads, not only because, you know, you're in a situation where you want to help the team, but you felt bad for your friend. It's something where I think a lot of people thought his career was now spiraling downward. It was towards the end, and he proved everyone wrong for a number of years after that.
David's fine. He's one of our teammates. I mean, yeah, it could have been me that got hit into a double play. I mean, it happens to everybody, man. You know, he's had 60 at bats. I mean, a couple years ago, I had 60 at bats. I was hitting 170, and everyone was ready to kill me too. What happened?
MVP.
Laser show. So, relax. I'm tired of looking at the Nixon poll, why David's struggling. David's fine. He's one of our teammates. We believe in him. He came out of it last year. He's going to come out of it this year. Put that in your... I'm going to go online and vote. Nixon.com. Papi's fine. Thanks for playing.
My smaller teammate, where he at, Pedroia? Pee-wee grabbed me by the neck one time. And he told me, if you keep on pulling the ball, I'm going to whoop you. And guess what? Big Papi got caught up on fire.
In the air to left field for Ortiz. Hit deep. Matsui going back, looking up opposite field home run for
We
Big
played together a
Papi.
long time, man. He's, you know, the personality, just what he's done is pretty special. You know, once in a generation type of player and personality.
David Ortiz with another chance to win it.
When I first came to Boston, I have a manager named Grady Little, who was the manager at the time. And my very first at bat against the Twins during spring training, I tried to move a runner over. And I thought when I got back to the dugout, everybody was gonna high-five me. Everybody stay sit. And the manager put me to the side and told me, hey, big boy, I don't want you to be here to move them over. I want you to be here to bring them in. The rest is history.
Swing and a fly ball to left field. Way back! Way back! The Red Sox are going to the American League Championship Series on the back of David Ortiz, who hits a two-run walk-off home run.
He's the guy that took us into 04 and kind of took everybody on his shoulders and said, all right, let's go. We're going to do this.
Ortiz trying to end it.
You know, the homers, the extra base hits. He was already Big Papi at that point, but he took it to another level in 04 in the playoffs.
Swinging a drive, deep right, way back Sheffield. It's gone. The Red Sox have won it.
Ortiz fights it off center field. Damon running to the plate, and he can keep on running to New York. Game 6 tomorrow night.
Big Papi, man. It's, I wouldn't say amazing because we're just used to it, because every time he's a threat. And that's what makes great teams.
The home runs took care of itself. You know, he just had that swing and he got smarter. You know, when you listen to him talk about hitting, there's not a whole lot of science in it, you know, and it's refreshing. Everybody talks about this analytical stuff now. There are some good things with analytics out there that can help hitters, but you know, you kind of have to have that it factor. And once he really got to Boston is when you got to see that it factor take control and turn into a monster.
Not only is it a testament to him and the pressures of playing in Boston, but I think the pressure moments where he came through, you know, I think that's really what sets his career apart from, you know, so many other really good and great players. You know, you look at 04 and it's, you know, the walk-off hits, and when I played with him, it seemed like every situation where, especially at Fenway Park, where the crowd's standing up and they're expecting something great to happen.
A postseason hero of years past, Big Papi coming up.
And I figure probably more often than not, he came through. You know, it seemed like the moment never got too big for him. I think he actually relished to be in that situation.
Bases loaded with 2 down. Red Sox trailing 5-1, and Papi gets in.
And he just had so many of those times where he came through, where who else would you want up there? I think it ended up, everyone probably would vote, we want David in that situation. And so it was pretty cool to see a guy really be expected to rise to the occasion and actually do it.
Swinging a high knee, driving to right field. That one's stalled to the right. Hunter on the move, racing back. It's over his head. It's gone. It's into the bullpen. This game is tied. This game is tied. David Ortiz. David Ortiz. David Ortiz.
You know, you're up there doing your own thing, and he did it. And he was so good at finding those moments and those big moments. And I think that's what people don't understand is some guys get nervous in big situations.
Ortiz just waiting on a 3-1.
The bigger the situation, Big Papi just loved those situations. David was that guy. He was the one that just, anything that ever happened, he would find a way.
Ortiz back by the wall. It is gone. Mr. Clutch is back just out of the yard. Big Papi.
Ortiz has sent this town into a delirium. Once the hero, twice the hero. A hero again at Fenway Park.
Big Papi hits it to deep right field. And the Red Sox walk off with the win.
Throughout his, you know, entire bulk of his career, what he's done, you know, is he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's the top 1% of the player, you know, that have played the game. So, you know, we're all proud of him. You know what I mean? That I'm sure not just that team, but all the teams he's been on.
I want to thank the baseball writer for making me the first designated hitter in the history of Cooperstown to be selected in the first ballot.
I think the best part about David, though, was if you saw what he did before, he'd be on his computer doing something and be like, oh, I'm up to bat. And he'd be like on deck almost. And then he'd just walk down the tunnel, grab his bat, grab his gloves, and go hit. Most people don't understand how hard that was to do as a DH.
He was a tremendous talent. You know, we even had the conversation last night with Pedro that I remember being out in right field. It may have been my first or second year. And I'm just sitting there going, don't throw this guy a fastball, Petey. Don't throw him a fastball. He goes, I wanted to see if he hit the cutter.
Deep to right field. Ortiz hits one into the upper deck. And it's 2-0.
And whap, you know, he hits a home run. And I'm just like, oh, you can't throw this guy a fastball.
Clean David's story is he's from the Dominican, and he should be fond of water and boats and all that stuff. So when I had my boat parked in Fort Myers, just seeing him put on this tiny life vest and just being scared going on a boat, probably because I was not driving it, but you know, I'm a beast as well. It was just a funny scene, seeing this big guy with this tiny jacket.
He loved to use the word focus in his post-game interviews. So I went over to him one time and I said, David, you speak great English, but with your accent, you need to pronounce the O more, because in focus, you're making the O sound like a U. So I said, just go focus like that. So of course, that night he, you know, hits a home run, whatever. All the media is asking him, you know, hey, you're at bat in the 8th inning. And he looks over to me and he goes, I was very focused. Like, I was like, all right, that sounds much better.
But the most important thing, he just don't want me to lose my focus. You know, he want me to be me.
A clean memory of David, just how he became Big Papi. The story that Veritek, you know, obviously he didn't know anybody's names, and he would just say, hey, what's up, Papi? Hey, Papi. That's how the legend of Big Papi came. That's the funniest story is on the bus. Veritek made him write every one of his teammates' names in his hat. It's just classic.
I mean, there's so many, you know, you play a long time with somebody, you built a lifelong friendship, and, you know, it's family.
And it was in 2015. So I'd already played with David for, I don't know, 9 years. I was kind of struggling at the plate, and we go on deck, and we're playing the Indians at home. And the umpire went to go pee, so the catcher blocked a ball. He didn't have a ball, and a ball kind of rolled over. The catcher comes over to me and goes, hey, what's up, Dustin? I go, hey, what's up, man? David walks over and goes, what the f*** did he call you? And I go, what? He goes, what'd he call you? I said, Dustin. He goes, why'd he call you that? I go, that's my name. He goes, oh, is that right? I'm like, yeah, bro. I played 1,600 games with you. They've actually said it 5,000 times. Now batting, number 15, Dustin Pedroia. And he goes, I thought it was Pee-wee. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, you thought my parents would name me Pee-wee?
There's so many that, you know, you're sitting around the house thinking about that makes you start laughing or makes you think of something funny.
And I also got teammates right here, Los Chicos Locos, Johnny Damon, Mikey Lowe, Dustin Pedroia, Trot, Nixon, Jason Varite, Team Wakefield, Kevin Youkilis, and of course, number 45. I want you guys to know that even with the God-given talent that I have, I don't think I would have made it without the support and love coming from all of you. All I was trying to do, it was bringing team together. That started with honesty and openness. My teammates always were there for me, and that's something that I always gonna appreciate. In life, remember, our teammates are our second family. Love you guys, man, forever.
When David asked us to be here, because we are D'Angelo's godparents, I said yes. Thank you for asking me, and just coming here and hanging out with Dustin Pedroia, Mikey Lowe, Trot Nixon, brings back some great memories, great competitions, and I mean, David Ortiz is here because he was a badass hitter and most clutch hitting postseason player ever. And that's the reason why Boston started to win all these championships. I mean, Big Papi, we love him.
My oldest son, you know, he asked me way back, he goes, Dad, you think there's a chance of going to David's induction? I was like, well, we can see what happens, you know, with the schedules and so forth. Got the phone call from Pam to be invited up there, and I was like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
During my years in Boston, I think I wanted to be a good teammate. I wanted to be someone who I felt was accountable. And I think getting an invite to be someone that he wanted to kind of share this moment with, I don't know, it's a great compliment to being a teammate, because he's had a lot of teammates, to be honest with you. And you know, just to soak it in for him and kind of be part of that cheering section, it's going to be fun.
The relationship that I have with him is truly just, it's a special one. The times on the bus rides, he'd be in the front, I'd be in the back, he'd get on the mic, and we'd rag each other. Everybody on the team was laughing about it. It was so much fun. And just, again, it's just an honor to be here to celebrate David's induction into the Hall of Fame.
I think it's a great culmination of his career coming full circle. You know, started in Seattle, goes to Minnesota, and the Twins really didn't want him. So to turn that around into a Hall of Fame career is pretty special, and I'm gonna have a good seat and enjoy the ride.
To be a teammate of David, to hit in front of him, to hit behind him in the lineup, I always had a great time with that. To give big hugs with him when great things happened, and when bad things happened, and we sit there and talk about baseball and how we're gonna get better. And to see him struggle in his career, I still remember, I think it was 2009 when he had a real bad struggle, and somebody interviewed me about that, and I said, that is what personifies greatness, is when you hit a bad part of anything you do in life and you find your way out. And for me, that was what epitomized David's mentality and the way he was going to become a Hall of Famer.
Nowadays, it takes a lot to get me out of where I'm living. But no, obviously I'd do anything for David. So you know, I'll be here, and you know, I'm just excited for him, just to see him, and you know, hopefully he enjoys the weekend, because he definitely deserves it.
Just a great experience. I'm very blessed and honored that, you know, David, you know, invited some of his former teammates, and, you know, I would just happen to be one of them. I know he wanted to bring probably everybody up here, but just an unbelievable experience. I'm very, very happy for him.